Aloha and welcome to Remote Promote. For those of you joining us for the first time, Remote Promote was created with an intention to support business owners and entrepreneurs and spread the good word on within our social communities online. And that the intention is that together we can support each other, that our businesses will thrive, and the online communities will be delighted in making a difference for those people that are just stepping forward in courage and sharing their talents with the world. So today it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Annie Malacek. Annie Malacek. And Annie is the founder of Hae Mama Kitchen. It's a small local business based in Seattle, Washington, and she's been cultivating her own kimchi for the past 3 years and views kimchi as the highest source of love. This is so great. Hae Mama's takes on cabbage kimchi. It's rooted in her personal memories of home in Korea and in the local food traditions in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm super excited to receive our very own kimchi. Teresa received it in the mail, and I'm super excited to try it. So welcome, Annie, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Maureen. And I'm so glad that you have some kimchi with you.
Yay. I actually just got introduced to kimchi about a year ago and had never tasted it before and fell in love with it. So I'm really delighted to try your kimchi.
Awesome.
So yes, thank you. So tell us about how your business got started and what is it that you're doing, and just tell us about you.
Awesome. Yeah. So hi, everyone. I'm Annie, and I'm the founder of Hae Mama Kimchi. And yeah, Hae Mama really started out of a deeper desire to bring my identity into the work that I do. So yeah, I am a Korean adoptee. And I think as an adoptee, obviously I didn't grow up eating, my mother or grandmother's kimchi. So a lot of that part of my identity was really cultivated when I was living in Korea for a year. And that's how I met Teresa.
Yay.
And so, yeah, I think when I moved back to America from Korea, the one thing that I really missed, obviously beyond the people and connections that I made there, was the food. And I think, really I felt that I was living as an immigrant or as, a transplant in another, country. And the one thing that I felt that I really could fully indulge in and connect with was food. And I think that for Koreans, food, and specifically kimchi, is the highest source of love. It's that one dish that all the women that love you most, will spend hours laboring and individually salting cabbage leaves and slathering their version of yam or the red sauce that goes on top of the kimchi, for you. And it's something that is not only made to be eaten together, but prepared together. So yeah, I just have the fondest memories of watching my birth mother slice cucumbers from her garden, and someone who became like a mother to me when I was living there would secretly come and throw a bunch of banchan or side dishes and her kimchi into my fridge while I was at work. So I think for Koreans, kimchi and food really is just this way of connecting to each other and to connecting to the land. So really, I was inspired by my time spent in Korea, but also now my new life in the Pacific Northwest, to create a local and really personal kimchi recipe that I will be passing on to my children for sure.
That's so great. And I love that this is your very own recipe, that you created this on your own. So can you just briefly share with us, how is it that you created this recipe?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that I feel really lucky to have been able to live in Korea, specifically in Andong, a really small countryside town, just because I've tasted a lot of really amazing kimchi. And then coming back to America, I think that, obviously the kimchi that you can get in stores is okay, but it just doesn't hit in that same way And I think it's because it's mass produced and, you don't know how long the kimchi's been on the shelf for. So you have no idea how long it's been fermenting. Is this fresh kimchi? Has it, been going for a few months, Yeah. So the way that I cultivated my own recipe was through trial and error. Making kimchi that tasted not so good or good enough, but I wasn't happy with it. And I think it's a really highly technical dish. Anyone who is familiar with like pickling or fermenting, like there's so much science that goes on behind it. And I think really when I kind of just gave myself permission to mess up and to just have fun, that something really yummy came out of it. So yeah, something that I think differentiates Hae Mama Kimchi is that, I mean, it is very local. We use oysters from Willapa Bay. So here's the oyster jar that I use.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Washington apples, which are extremely abundant. And then here, typically kimchi can be made with sugar, some sort of sweetener. But we use Washington honey. So here's the huge thing of wildflower honey.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really just think it's a bit of luck, and like anything, practice makes perfect. So that's kind of how it all came together.
Oh my goodness, how delightful. And do you ship? Where do you ship to? Because I know you're in Seattle, Washington. Do you ship nationwide, just in the US? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so actually I've been mostly shipping. Just due to COVID, it's pretty hard to find local spaces to be physically selling, which is a really fun opportunity to share with people all across the country. So yes, I am shipping, and I'm using USPS right now. So it's just flat rate shipping for $15. And yeah, it's up to 50 pounds in weight. So really I can pack a whole lot of kimchi in there for you, and it's $15 no matter what.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be shipping some. So when we're finished here, I want to place an order.
Okay, awesome.
And lastly, do you have any tips that you'd like to share with entrepreneurs at this time?
Yeah, I mean, my kimchi business is really newly started. And I think that entrepreneurship, in many ways, it's, this American dream, right? But it's also really daunting. And it took me, I've had this idea for a year now and have been making kimchi pretty religiously for 3 years. And I think it took a lot of courage for me to just take that step and just go for it. So yeah, and there's also just so much going on in the world, and real talk like has been going on in the world. So I think, really trying to stay true to my values. Something that we have been doing, or Hae Mama Kimchi has been doing for last week and then this week as well, is we are donating all of our profits to the Black Lives Matter movement, and then the Loveland Foundation, which is an organization that seeks to make mental health more accessible for Black and Brown women, which is really powerful and real, and is work that needs to be done. And going forward, I've been really critically thinking about, one, what does money mean to me? And I guess the role of luck in my life, and where I want my money to go, and, who I want to benefit from this, really. So I think going forward, it's not sustainable for me to donate all my profits, unfortunately. But going forward, at least 5% of my profits are going to be donated to an organization that supports people of color in some capacity. So yeah, I don't know. I think power to the people. Like, any tips, tricks? I've only been at this for a month, but I think just staying true to who you are, and, the kind of change that we want to see is like ultimately so possible. So yeah, if you want to keep updated on, any sort of offerings, or just see the work that we're doing, you can follow me at on Instagram at Hae Mama Kimchi. That's where, all of yeah, how I'm updating. So
Oh, that's so great. Well, thank you for just your sharing your talents and treasures with the world. Also, your commitment into um, services that are greater than yourself and just the good of all. I love that. And we'll be including your information on how to get a hold of you in the chat section. So don't feel like you have to write it down if you're watching this, because we'll have it all in the chat section.
cool.
And thank you again, Annie, for joining us. So
Yeah,
delighted to
thank you
have
so
you.
much. Thank you so much.
Yes. And if you are interested in participating in Remote Promote or know of somebody who'd like to share their business here, we would love to hear from you. And until next time, aloha.